like the Lord our God? Strong to save, faithful in love. My debt is paid and the victory won. The Lord is my salvation. Yes, He is. He is. Welcome to the Lord is my salvation land, a land of resources around this amazing song. What a thing to say. What a thing to get together and sing. Who is like the Lord our God? He is not an unknown God. He is the one true living God who has made himself known in the person of Jesus Christ. And I'm so grateful for this song. It's been a blessing to my family for a long time. The Gettys, dear friends of ours, wrote this song, and we have loved it. And our attempt to put it on a hymns record and just make it a part of our library, our song library here, was to just introduce it. If those of you who've never heard this song, it's just one, to introduce it to you. And two, we really tried to wrap it in a more of a contemporary, what a lot of our worship sets look like. We try to put some of that musical language in the song. And so in a stairwell, I came up with a little lead line in the turn, and so I even put, there's some breaths in there. So even some of the phrasing is just a little bit different so that you can like breathe and sing it. Who is like the Lord our God? Like that. It's just, you can really kind of belt it out together. And we kind of put the bridge in a different place, in a more of a predictable bridge place, and a double chorus in the end, and then an outro. So we kind of just try to put some familiar musical language around it for those of us who speak that language, and our congregations speak that language. And so the song, we didn't change a thing about the song. And in fact, get the Gettys record and play that version. It's amazing. But so here we go. Are you ready? So if you play a different instrument other than the guitar, please, you're probably already gone. But if you're still here, jump into whatever instrument you play. Please don't miss the devotional. It's just written specifically around this song, wrapping the Word of God around this song. Don't miss that. You can listen to it and read it. There's vocal parts down here if you want to learn harmonies, and so jump out of the video and into your world if you're not an acoustic player. But if you want to learn, I'm going to slow down some chords, maybe talk about some rhythm changes. I played it in two different shapes on the record, and so I'll kind of review a little bit about those two shapes. And so here we go. You ready? Key of C, playing C shapes. I feel like someday I'm going to return to like D shapes and E shapes. I feel like those were like when I first learned, like D shapes and E shapes were what I really loved. But man, I can't get away from these C shapes. They're spectacular for me right now. So I'm going to show you C shapes, and then I'll capo on 5 and show you G shapes. You can also just watch the video if you want to skip this and see what I played. And there's easy videos down here. What Ross or Adam, one of our guys, played on that if you're just beginning, okay? So, the old C chord, out of tune. So, hey, this little guy, this is not a plug. Nobody told me to say this. It's a D'Addario capo with a little tuner on it. It's amazing. I use it all the time. Okay. C shapes. There's my one chord. It's a C chord. I'm muting that top string. Sometimes you'll see me play it like that if I want it to be beefy. Play that G, that 5 note in the bass. So that's the one chord, okay? So I'll do the major chords. One chord, you got your 4 chord. Your F chord, I'm playing the F note, the 4 note with my little squatty thumb here. I'm sure you can do it if you give it enough time. You can also just mute that top string or play it, right? 1 chord, 4 chord, here we go, 5 chord. So that would be like sort of where I start with a 5 chord. muting that A string. And then, you kind of have an opportunity to suspend it with these two guys. So there's the 1, 4, 5, and then your 6 minor, right? It's like, gotta have the 6 minor. I don't know if many songs don't have it. Here's your A minor. You'll also see me play that up here. Cool way to play it, muting this the A string here, just to clean it up. And then I have a 2 minor. Got your D minor in there, okay? And so other than that, there's like inversions like crazy, right? And so you'll have a 1/3, which is a C chord with the 3 note in the bass. You'll have a 4/6, which is, you could just play a 4 chord and anytime you see a sort of an inversion or a combination chord or a fraction, 1/3, 4/6, 5/7, and you're an acoustic player, you can just play what's on top. So if you see a 4/6, it more than likely be really safe if you just played your 4 chord and let the bass guitar play the 6. But sometimes, especially if you're playing alone, it's gorgeous to play a 4/6 chord. So here's your 1 chord. It's really easy. Check this out. I'm just gonna bring my ring finger down a string. I guess you wouldn't have to play this because I'm covering it up, but just to make it easy, you just bring it down. Isn't that a pretty chord? 4/6, and then your 5/7. Here's a 7 note. So this is the 6 note, and then the 7 note. And sometimes I'll play it like open like that. I don't play the last E string. Go through the B string, or you can play it like that. Whatever you want, 5/7. So you get 1/3, 4/6, 5/7, and then you have a 3 major chord in the bridge. So, which would be an E major, which you can play. But when I get to it, because especially in these shapes, if you're going from your 5 chord to this 3 major, well, I kind of go to a 5 sharp, 5 sharp. It's a version of that. It's like an inversion of a 3 major chord, and then to the 6. So it's fun to go 5 sharp in the bass, 3 major chord, and then 6. Sometimes I keep my pinky down. Watch my pinky. That's just a nuance that can help you get to the chord. And it's just my pinky. That's the only thing I'm dragging. Cool. You can also play this chord to normal A minor. The Lord is my salvation. Cool. And chord strumming wise, you would be totally safe to just do that the whole time, or downstrokes. You will not fear when darkness falls, or diamonds, It will help me scale these walls. You'll see me kind of do a little picking. Na, 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 na. The Lord is my salvation. Just being a shaker in the turns. Bum, 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 bum. When we get to the chorus, really doing the groove in the first chorus because nothing else is. Oh, strong to da 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 da. So I'm really kind of holding that down, down, da, 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 down, 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 right? I'm really holding down that groove on that first chorus. A little bit less on the next chorus because the drums are doing the groove. So more like, is a la. So I'm kind of doing accents, but I'm kind of, in my head, I'm trying to fill each, what is that? An eighth note? Is that an eighth note? I think it's an eighth note. Fill in the eighth notes. And I'm kind of like, sometimes I even turn my pick sideways. Or I scoot my pick. I get a little, I make it to where it feels firmer. So I'll scoot my fingers down a little bit where I'm really kind of digging in. So I'm really thinking like that, kind of mathematically in that way of like, and I'm just doing my chords, right? And you'll see little hammer-ons. You'll see some of those things that really, you know, in the track you probably don't even hear. It's just little kind of nuances that you can do. That's why I love C shapes, is you can do those little voicings inside of chords that help support the melody, right? And then when we get to the bridge, so cool. Glory be to God the Father. And I'm just picking out a couple strings. If you want to jump into picking, we have some like related content you could probably find down here. Jump into some picking classes. The Spirit. There's that 6, 5, 4, 1. Second time through. Glory be to God the Father. Glory be to God the Son. 5 suspended, 5. Glory be to God. Here we go, the Spirit. Go to that one, 5, 4. And then we had a little fun at the end of the last chorus. We kind of did this big triplet fill that I think I did on the scratch track. So we ended up just kind of keeping it. Sometimes I get a little too hyper in the scratch world. So when we kind of tag the chord, the last line of the chorus, right? The Lord is my salvation. 1 over 3. The Lord is my salvation. 1 over 3. Is salvation. So when I'm thinking about doing that fill, I'm not thinking about like, it's time to spaz out. Like, that's not what I'm thinking. I think that's the impression sometimes that people get. God, you could just like triple strum or treble strum, and it's really not. I'm really thinking. I mean, I'm really thinking super mathematically a triplet fill, and I just have to figure out how to do that with one hand instead of two. And so that's what makes it maybe a little bit more odd, because you're using one hand instead of two hands on the drums, and you have to just figure it out, right? So, Lord is my salvation, 1 over 3. So when I play that 1 over 3 chord, so salvation, 1 over 3, 1 over 3, 1 over 3, is my salvation. And that would be something I would never do if I couldn't do it and continue to lead well or sing well. It's just unnecessary. And so it's kind of a fun thing to do if you can get comfortable with, like, doing fills, with your hand while you sing at the same time. And so totally unnecessary, but you can do it if you want to. Okay, and so then we have, so if you capo on 5, just a couple thoughts here. I know that I did a couple things that might look, they're not your traditional, G chords or G shapes. On the turns, you'll see normal. normal stuff like that, right? And then verse 1, this really fit well. And pull me from the raging sea, and I am safe on the solid ground. The Lord is my salvation. Right, and all your combination chords, they're all different. You gotta think. If you're thinking in numbers, you have to kind of get in G-shaped numbers. So here's your 1 chord. Here's your 4 chord, or this C, right? Your C shape. Here's your D shape. That's your 5 chord. But then you have a 5/7. So you'll see me play like a normal D chord, or the old school D chord, with the 7 note in with my thumb, and I'm muting this A string. And sometimes I'm pulling off that little guy right there. So there's your kind of your 5 chord, and then your 6 chord is an E minor, right? And then you'll see on verse 2, you'll see that happen. So that's just, I'm going, one second, sorry. Sorry. Oh, why I'm so out of tune. That's the first move. Ba-da, ba-da. So I go ba-da, da, da, ba-da, da, da, ba-da, da, da, boom. Ba-da, da, boom. So this chord is just like that guy. It's a little difficult up here without like a cutaway. I will not fear in darkness. There's your D chord. Right? So you'll see that. That's just a version of an E minor chord. That's what's fun about E minor, is there's all kinds of little, I mean, you wouldn't have to even do this part. You could like, that would be a really great verse 2. Yeah, in fact, you can't even hear it in the mix. You can't even hear that in the mix. If you listen to the mix of the song, it's just not even there. And so it might be cool to do, if you're playing alone, but then it might even be hard to pull that off, if you're playing and singing. So anyway, just a little something you might see there. And then in the bridge, there's that kind of your 3 major chord, right? Which would be a B major, which that's just a monster for me to play. So I just opted out of that. I think I might have played on the track kind of a wrong note, but the wrong note wasn't wrong enough to not keep. So the bridge for me is, you got your 4 chord, glory be to God, 5 the Father, 6, glory for 5 the Son, 5 suspended, way to suspend that with your pinky. Glory be to God. And here's your 3 major. I'm just doing the same 5 sharp, right? Here's your 5 note, a D, like it's not an official D. It's actually a G, I guess there. But your 5 sharp, you sharp your 5. So, glory be the Spirit. So that would be, that one might be tricky. I think that's the note that I put in there. So that's what I do. I'm even if in the track, glory be to God, the Spirit. I thought you could do that, or the Spirit. 5, 6, 5, the Lord is my salvation. And the last chorus, I am God. So that we're just kind of went with that big groove, big drum groove. And so I'm trying to strum like it. Oh, that was the bridge. I'm singing the bridge. Is like down the Lord, our God, strong to stay faithful in love. My debt is paid and the victory won. C minor, 5. I'm singing the bridge again, guys. So the Lord is my salvation. That tag at the end of the chorus, not the bridge. The Lord is my salvation. 1 over 3. 4 is my salvation. 1 over 3 is my salvation. So that's kind of how I think of it rhythmically. If you're interested in that little guy. The Lord is my salvation, and I go 1 over 3, dig it, the gun, gun, dig it, the dun. Go dun, dig it, the gun, gun, dig it, the dun. So down, Lord is my down, dig it, the gun, gun, dig it, the ga. You know, my salvation. Na na na. Got it? I'm here for you. I'm here. I love you. My team right here loves you. We're praying for you. I hope this song serves you and your body well, just to help you remember and think about the Lord who is living and active and real. Who is like him? No one is like him. No one's even close to being like God. He's perfect in all of his ways. And we hope you see him today. Savor him. Shane, be out.